one.
Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 11th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I personally utilize to guide virtually every decision I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue working for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people with various degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, right off the bat, we are going to be looking at, today we are literally looking at self-confidence, co-creating the new you. Now, if you're happy with the way your life is going, you won't be making any changes. If you don't, this is where this comes in. Now, one of the biggest things, and this is why I use what I'm doing with my life as an example, so that you actually have the opportunity to make things happen. LA, how you doing? I tell you, can you believe it is like 2 months away? I think we're June, July. Oh yeah, it's like 2 months away and we'll be down there. And we have Steve is in with the gold. Will Riders is in with the silver. How you guys doing? Glad you could join us. Today we start working on literally, when I talk about the creative side of self-confidence, I mean literally, what would you like your life to look like? Okay. What would you like your life to look like? Now, needless to say, my wardrobe is not getting dealt with yet. Has something to do with the fact that right now finances are tight, but we're going to show you how that's all going to change. Number one, I am working with my own money. I am changing the way everything is going. Okay. One of the biggest things, I will be cutting my hair back, changing the wardrobe. That's going to be a work in progress. But let me ask you this. If you look in the mirror, if you look at that person looking back at you, are you content with the way you are right now? Okay. If you are, this is fantastic. You may be the only person on the planet that fits that bill, but what the heck? And Woo Riders here is going gold, silver, bronze, and honor to all. The one thing I look at there is that's what they've done with the education system, and it doesn't work. At least up here in Canada, it used to be gold, silver, bronze you got when you were racing or when you were trying to win in some sort of a competition. Somewhere along the lines, these geniuses came up with the idea of, if you show up for the race, you're a gold winner. And I tell you, the real world does not work that way. Not everybody gets a gold medal. Not everybody gets a promotion. Okay. But virtually everybody gets abused in one way or another. There's something to look forward to. The important fact we have to look at here is in your own mind, and every one of you will get the gold where it comes to changing your own life. Okay. So what I'm doing, I started working in my office at 5 o'clock this morning. And I worked straight through until 1 o'clock this afternoon before I took any time out to relax. Now, here's the way this world is going to go. Okay. Pick one thing about your life that you're not content with right this moment. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay. It can be as simple as, I don't like my coffee on my left side of my table right now, so I'm going to pick it up and move it over to the right. Now, there is a reason I have it on the left. it forces me to work with my left arm. But you desire your life to change. It's time to get an idea of what you're not content with. And absolutely, whichever one of you, it kind of boils down to a race. Because here's the way things work. You open up and go, this is what I desire to change. We are going to hand you tools to work with on the show today. This is not a question of, oh, I've got all these tools, and absolutely, I've got the answers. So we'll do this. I've got the answers. And here's the real neat trick. Buy my book, because it's got all the answers. And no, thanks for playing. Absolutely, I will tell you, believing in yourself and follow your dreams holds the key to how I turned my life around. It absolutely does. Believe in your business is a self-examination of how I took my business and went, this is the image I've got. And of course, believe in your finances is the same way. This is what I'm doing with my finances. Now, to be clear, okay, I'm not an expert. I'm not trained in any of this, except if you count 56 years of stupid moves. Stupid as in I knew better and did it anyway. That's the biggest issue. Now, I have come to the conclusion that I've got all the tact of a crushed thimble. At least it has an excuse. I actually got told one day that I should learn to use tact. And I looked at the person, I went, tact? And they went, yeah, the ability to tell somebody where to go and have them look forward to the trip. I said, I got one problem with that. If I'm already annoyed enough to tell you where to go, why do I care if you're actually looking forward to the trip? Okay, my motivation is simple. I'm done with it. Go away. And I'm very good at hanging up on people. Okay, but rest assured, with that said, Renee, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I do hope I was wrong. Oh, I shut everything down, so that's okay. But that can be closed. I do hope things are going well for you. Now, the reality of life is this. You take a look at the way your life is going. Okay, you decide if you're content. I was not content with mine. So I am now literally, I've got a list together, and when you take a look at the list, I don't expect you to read it, okay, because I'm not going to hold it there that long. Besides that, my penmanship is garbage. But did I get all of the 12 done? Where did we go? Try to put my pen down and can't find it. That got done. Nope, didn't do that. Did that. Okay, now, what I did is this. Like any business, virtually everybody, if you've ever worked at anything, okay, if you've ever worked for somebody else, there is a list of things that you've got to do before you even get your shift started. Okay, well, what I did was I went, here's a list of 12 things I've got to get done, hopefully before I open the door. Okay, but certainly before the day is over. Now, the reality of it is this. You desire your life to change. Okay, I'm just going to go there. You desire your life to change, or at least you're saying you desire your life to change. You got one and two choices. You can pray somebody else straightens it out, and I will tell you the odds of that working are not good. Or you can set up a plan. Well, you got a lot of variations there. Or you can do something about it. In my case, I look at it this way. I've waited, I hid for 56 years, hoping people would wake up and start treating each other decently. This is clearly not going to happen. Okay, now I'm 61. When I printed the autobiography of my grandmother, it showed 100 years ago clear as a bell. People were still treating each other like garbage. We go back 2,000 years ago. People were still doing it. Humans are not, well, in all fairness, most corporeals don't. You're not getting the message. Okay, now I've hid for a very long time. So here's what I'm looking at now. I'm no longer staying hidden. Okay, I'm no longer making allowances for the idea that, you'll figure it out sooner or later. Clearly, if you haven't figured it out in 10,000 years, you might have a glitch in the training. Okay, so let me ask you this. What is one thing in your life, just one, that you would like to correct? Okay, in my case, it's simple. Not happy with my level of fitness, not happy with a lot of things, but I am changing each and every one of the ones I've identified. Okay, in all fairness, I just wrote a letter to my brother and to both my brothers to bring them up to speed on what I'm doing with my finances. And I will tell you guys the same thing. I laid out a plan that puts me in the control seat. I can do the same thing for you. And I will tell you, I had somebody, I mentioned that to the other day, without even hearing the comment or hearing the idea. He goes, "Oh, that won't work." And I literally, now, I do my best to be polite here. The guy made that comment, and I turned around and went, "That is just absolute BS." Now, I didn't call it BS. Okay. I said, "It's just plain BS. I'm utilizing the tool. It works. This is why I give you guys tools that I've already tested." Okay. The question is, are you going to choose to continue your life the way it is and continue to complain about it if you're complaining now, or if you're not complaining, continue to sit there and suffer through it? Or are you going to put your feet on the floor, dust yourself off, and get up and start moving and start working towards a better tomorrow? Okay, but I'm talking about getting a better tomorrow today. Okay, because I'll guarantee, and there's very little I guarantee, by the way, aside from I won't lie to you to make you feel better. First thing you got to look at is, are you content? Second one you look at is this one. And yes, I know full well I repeat myself. These 4 words. I am worth it. Sink these into your head. And let's get started on changing the way your world is working. Okay, those 4 words I've got on that board there. I've got on the bookmark up above my computer. I've got one on the fridge and one on my front door. It is time to change your life. If you're not content with it, and don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely a firm believer. If you enjoy going to church, go. There is this thing called brotherhood that hopefully your church is handling. Whether it's a church, a temple, a coven, it doesn't matter. Find like-minded people, preferably of a positive nature. Okay, and start getting to know each other. Start working with each other to make things happen. What is that? Oh, can't do much with that yet. Now, the reality of it is this. You're the only one that's going to change it. You can absolutely, and I'm sure most of you, if you're churchgoers, I'm pretty certain you go on a regular basis. Most of you do. Some of you have gone, "No, I believe in God, but what I'm seeing in the church isn't working, so I'm not going anymore." Okay. My problem is the people in the church went, "You're not welcome here." And I'm like, "Thank you." So now what I'm looking at is I've got this great big array. I have managed to successfully, in my eyes, at least in my head and on paper, I have merged positive perspectives, positive perceptions, the live feed, and positivity in my own life. Okay, when I got up this morning, I started work at 5 o'clock in the morning in my office, and I committed to myself I would work until what? I got a staggering amount of stuff done. Now, I'm not suggesting you necessarily get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, but when you're looking at whether to get up, pick a time to get up. Even if you're having sleeping problems, pick a time to get up. Even if you're only up and mobile for an hour or two, and then you gotta grab another nap. It's that initial getting started that matters. Never mind the time you go to bed. And by the way, and this is just my opinion, really, when you're raising kids, same idea. Do not worry about when they go to bed. Worry about when they get up. Okay. Worry about getting them into a routine, one way or the other. Now, I know from my standpoint, I am not perfect. I've made, Lord knows, more than my fair share of miscalculations. What's this? That's the note I needed. Oh, gotta work on that tonight. Now, I've got this neat little list of things I've still got to get done before the end of the night. All right, all but 3 of them. But let's start building a new you. If you're not content, what I've done is this. I've literally started laying out what I'm going to be doing for a new wardrobe while I am working on this. Okay, now it is income dependent. I can't go out and buy new clothing if I don't have the money to do it. And rest assured, right about now, that's really not a functional option. Okay, is it going to be? Yes. Okay, but to be clear, one of the biggest things I just wrote off, I've already cut back on the amount I go out for dinner. I frankly can't afford it. Okay, I just got off the horn when just a couple hours ago with one of the so-called professional advertisers I've been dealing with. I am cutting all so-called professional advertising. I have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on these people who have claimed to be able to help. Okay, I'll tell you, I deal with people, and now I deal head on with people. I've got like Storm in LA. I run into a stag, I talk to them, get some input into it, and I know if they say, I can do this, I know they're going to do it. The big companies, even the little companies, I have yet to find many that will say, I can help you. Here's the proof of it. None of thus far, with the thousands I've spent, none of them have come forth with a result. So I just said, scrap it. I may well lose a website or two. Buy me a coffee, we won't lose. Okay. So the buy me a coffee list at the top of the chat room here absolutely can be utilized. Because that's where I'm at. It's a question of, okay, that's what we're working with. Now that said, if you guys, any one of you or all of you, that'd be great, were to pass on the word, pass on the information on the books that I've already got in print. Okay, I do work with a referral fee setup. As far as I know, I'm the only company in existence that actually tracks and pays word of mouth advertising. But I'm not in this for the money. Don't get me wrong. Somebody hands me $10,000, I will happily put it to use. Okay, somebody hands me $10,000 and go, I'll give you this if you do this illegal thing or this misguiding thing for me. I'll tell you what you can do with the money. I remember there was a Hollywood company that wanted to tell my life story. And they sent me the contract. I told them what they could do with it. The guy goes, well, you don't understand what kind of money you're putting in, you're turning down. I said, oh, I understand entirely what money I'm turning down. What you don't get is how little I care. Money for me is a side effect. Okay. Now, what I require here, because I sure as heck am not getting a tie. So don't even consider. If somebody wants to see me in tie, wait till I'm dead. But we are going to be literally altering my wardrobe. But I'm altering my wardrobe so that when I go to come on air, as soon as I've got the finances to do it, I wonder. Brain just popped a gasket here. This is one of those things that I kind of look at going, I wonder if this works. When you look at that, I might just have the solution. But I'll figure that out. And again, it boils down to this. In your guys' eyes, because this really is part of the equation, it really boils down to, do you feel successful the way you are? Okay. Now, myself, my mindset is great, but I do know the clothing does not make the person. We know this for an absolute certainty. But let me ask you this. Which way, when you look at people, does, in your eyes, does clothing change the way you perceive the person? Or change the way you perceive yourself, for that matter? Okay, what I've got here is I've got my office completely cleared out, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, that is something I got to get that marked down, so I do that. Wait a minute, let's go. So, let's co-create the new you. Okay. Are you content with the way you are, with the way your life is going, with what you see in the mirror? Okay. This, I'm going to go and get cut. Okay. I'm going to bring it down. Now, understand, my hair used to be all the way down to about halfway down my forearm. Okay. I removed this because I chose to. Okay. And this is what I mean by get things organized in your own head. What are you happy with? Not what is everybody else happy with. Okay, now I asked for input from you guys regarding color, and you guys jumped to the forefront and went, here's some tools for you. That's where I'm going. Okay, I'm not the most color-oriented, and I'm most assuredly not the most politically correct individual on the planet. Unless we take into consideration my view on politics is correct for me. Now, I've talked to some of the people around the world that are running for office in their areas. And I'm telling you, I find out some remarkably annoying things when I talk to people. Okay, the question here, and there we are. Storm has just entered the room. How you doing, Storm? Hopefully things are going well. Now get this. I'm not wearing my glasses. I haven't changed my monitor, but I can read what's on that screen now. When I tell you your eyes can heal, and I found the key to it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you the key literally right now. If you're having eyesight problems, okay, let's start at the very beginning, because that's a very good place to start. You're told, okay, and I'd lay odds you were told, as you get older, your eyes are going to collapse. And then you're going to have to get glasses, and then they're going to continue to collapse. Okay, so if you haven't done it already, pull out a pad of paper or an electronic notebook and take notes. Okay, There is a book out. It was written about 50 years ago called The Bates Method to Better Eyesight Without Glasses. Okay. Now, if you'd like, I do have on my computer, I'm just not going to call it up right now. I actually have the ISBN number for it. Okay. If you're interested in this book, it does a phenomenal job of explaining exactly why your eyes don't work now. Okay. And I will tell you, the monitor is a bit of a hiccup. Okay. So we start with your eyes because, I'd love to say let's start with the brain, but I've seen how that works on occasion. Changing a mindset is a little difficult, in case you hadn't noticed. So let's start with the obvious. And no, I don't get a plug nickel for this guy's book. Okay. But I do know it works. And because it works, I feel it's only fair to give it to you. Okay. Now, what the book does is it explains the mechanics behind it. In a nutshell, here's where the thing is. Your eyes are a muscle. Okay. If you don't use them, they will atrophy. Now, here's the kicker. I can remember what I did with it. Here's the kicker. Your eyes micro adjust every time you take a breath, every time something goes and moves in front of you. You are not welcome. Every time something moves in front of you, your eyes make a micro adjustment so you can see. Now, light comes in from various different angles all over the place. And your eyes are adjusting all the time. They're always moving. The moment you put glasses on, okay, it locks the refraction into one location, which means your eyes don't adjust anymore. They simply handle that light. With that in mind, take your glasses off. If you've been wearing the glasses all day, you take your glasses off, and all of a sudden, you can't see clearly because where the light was coming in from, no longer is coming in from that angle. Now it's coming in from all over the place, and your eyes get tired. This may make you grumpy. It may make you tired, sleepy, may give you a headache. Okay. But you take the glasses off and you go, oh, I can't see very well. So, oh yeah, my eyes are going to collapse. I'm going to go to the eye doctor and get a new set of glasses. And you go through the same thing. It works great for a little bit. And then you end up, for whatever reason, taking them off. And now you find out your eyes aren't working as well as they were. Well, of course not. You're not using them. Now, do understand what I'm telling you here is used in conjunction with what you're finding with the medical profession. Okay. I require mine. I was going to say I require it to read the computer. Apparently not as much anymore. Okay. And no, by the way, I do not have it abnormally so large. As a matter of fact, I deliberately keep it a little smaller than I require it to force my eyes to work. Okay. But you take a look at it and go, okay, I've got to get these eyes working. Take your glasses, use them for what is required for safety. Okay. I.e., you may need to require them on the computer. Absolutely use them. Watching a TV, absolutely use them. Driving, please use them. Okay. I see a lot of people out there that, they get their driver's license. I'm looking at it going, you've got to be kidding me. Like they actually gave you one? But here's the thing. If you're not doing one of the above, okay, and you can see enough to function, some of you can't. Okay, some of you are no longer capable of sight. Okay, but I will tell you, in most cases, it is reparable without medication, without a surgery. Now, you desired the surgery, I will tell you this. On the whole, they're saying they're reasonably safe now. But you take your glasses off. You put them down where you can remember where they are. I got a bad habit, in case you hadn't noticed, putting mine down and forgetting where I put them. Okay. But you put them on, you go, okay, I'm going to rebuild my eyes by making them work. Now, I will warn you, your eyes will get tired the first few days, but they will gather strength. Now, I don't actually use my glasses much around the house anymore at all, and I used to wear them 24/7. Now, yes, anybody that knows me closely knows my metabolic system is absolutely screwball. It's absolutely a screwy thing. But I am a firm believer that if I can correct my eyesight, you can correct yours. Okay, in most cases. Now, if you had the eye completely removed or deflated and filled with something, sorry, you're pretty much hooped. I'm working on the idea that that might be correctable, but for the moment, you're pretty much hooped. Okay, if you are of the mindset that I require glasses and will always require them, you've already shot yourself in the foot. Okay, so I look at it going this way and going like this. Okay, I don't require them to walk around. Don't wear them. Get the eye muscle to work. This is what is happening in my case. Now, my eyes were down to a -6 in one eye and -5 3/4 in the other. What have we got here? Well, technically, the answer is yes. Now, are we talking now? You say Neuralink. Like Storm is just letting us know. Oh, I walked. I didn't see it come in. My apologies. Am I correct in presuming, guys, that Neuralink is a new medical process? See, I know of the neural net, and it can be accessed, but hacked is a problem. Okay. Now, here's the neat thing. If you're looking at something that is built that is modern medicine, the odds are, because of this funny little factor that humans seem to have, greed, control, fear. That combination, okay, just a very bad combination. So, the fact is, yeah, I won't argue the fact that, see, I don't know enough about the Neuralink. What I do know is when I talk about the tools I'm referring to, they are used in conjunction with whatever medical process you're going through. Okay, these are not a replacement per se. In my case, I replace most things, but I'm odd. Okay, and I will tell you, do not try and match the pace I set for things. But when you start working with the muscle, even if you're told it will not heal, okay, how many things have I been told wouldn't work, and they turned around and worked? Not the least of which is, I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, but we lost him. I walked out of the morgue to find out what they had lost. I'm telling you, things are not as black and white as you've been led to believe. See, the thing is, I don't have ads. I don't have people paying me to put their ads up, and there's a reason for that. People get this brilliant idea. Now, we'll start with the obvious issue. You want me to put an ad up for you? I got no problem. I've got no problem with taking the money. I've got no problem if I tell you I'm going to do it. I will do what I can with it. But I will tell you, there is not a soul on the planet that will be able to get into say, you do this, I give you this money, you do it this way. That will not happen. Okay. Probably not good for me to take a look in the mirror and go, gee, you could be a little more congenial. I could be. And I could absolutely even grab a butcher's knife and cut my hand off. I'm thinking this isn't good either. What have we got here? Neat thing about that, I get a kick out of that, Storm. Storm's just letting us know. Since the neural link can be remotely accessed to update operational parameters, it can be hacked and basically used to short circuit your organic neural net. Now, the neat part is when I was only 20 months old, they hooked me up to an EEG machine. You're not supposed to be able to feel it. I humbly disagree. I figure very, very contently. I felt it. I was not happy. I returned the favor. It wasn't happy either. So from my standpoint, it really boils down to the fact. Yeah, Storm goes, you can't sell. At least I could. Yeah, I wasn't happy. I'd already been electrocuted a couple of times by that point. Was not impressed. But take your eyes, and I'm just referring to your eyeballs themselves, with whatever other medical treatment or herbalistic treatment or exercise you're doing. Give that a shot. And please don't do what somebody told me the other day. Yesterday, they told me flat out, my method will not work. I told the guy he was full of BS. Because frankly, my method is working. Yeah, you noticed that too, eh? Storm just goes, it felt like 1,000 microscopic ants crawling into my scalp, biting occasionally. I ran into the same problem when I went into the dentist a while back. Okay. And they put the x-ray around. I got dizzy by the x-ray waves. Now, I take a look at it and I go, okay, the reality is if something exists and there's some sort of coding to it, whether it is technological or biological, if there is coding to it, it can be hacked. Okay. This idea that people say, and again, and I've written the article already, can't is a word that is foe to ambition. There is little on this planet that can't be done. Okay. Why doesn't that surprise me, Storm? The Storm is going, LA has had the same experience with EEGs. I don't go to the doctor for a reason. But the one thing you got to remember is if it can be hacked, the hack can also be stopped. Okay. And that's the thing you got to look at. Now, put your eyeballs to use. Start working with them. Start getting them to focus. Because much as it's fuzzy right now, it is clearer than it was yesterday. I can see clearly now the sky is falling. I don't think that works well. I don't like the sky falling. Although I see it happen a lot. The thing is, the eyes are required, sort of. Like I said, the more senses you put in use, when you are focusing on what you desire to change in your life, the stronger that image gets. Now, I've got my list I work with, and I had somebody tell me this doesn't work. I'm telling you, just to give you an idea on that one, I walk over here. If this doesn't work, this one doesn't work right now, but that isn't until July. But we have here that same list. I've kept it so I can see what I was doing. Okay, that's January to March, April to June. I'm already set for July to September. The thing is, things will work when you decide they're going to. And then you put the proper effort in. Now, if you're not content with your life, now is the time to start changing it. Not next week. I mean, if you wait till next week, it's still going to be in the here and now. Now, yes, I could go down the road. I could go and we could distract you and go, hey, let's look at all the pretty lights reflecting on the surface of the ocean. Let's take a look at that. Or as they do in the car sales, hey, look at the wonderful leather bucket seats. It's brand new leather. It's a brand new car. You'd think they'd use brand new leather. I figure I hid from the world. I hid from life for 55 years. Something about getting murdered when I was 5 years old kind of went against the grain. Not happy about that. When we go here. Oh, come on, LA. You've been nuts for a lot longer than the solar flares. Well, no, the solar flares were here before you were. So I guess, yeah, that works. But let's face it, you've been nuts for a long time. Lord knows you got to be if you're going to stay talking to me for a while. But I start with the eyes. Now, here's the neat little thing. I'm working on stabilizing my teeth, and I know the key that I require now. Uh-oh. I did find the missing ingredient that I require, but the neat part there, your body can generate whatever it requires. Now, I know that sounds lunatic, like I'm talking, that's absolutely lunacy. No, it's just a different form of reality. I look at the world in a very different way than you may. But you desire your life to change. It is time to start making it happen. So I'm working on my eyes. I'm working on my teeth. My ears are a pain in the neck. Well, really, they're right here. But I hear subquantum anyway. Or not subquantum, I hear subsonic. Okay. It's a royal pain. Now, a buddy of mine, he hears supersonic. He literally hears the dog whistle. Okay. Now, the nice part about it is the moment you start believing, and like I said, when your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Now is the time to start making this happen. Now, since I am pulling the plug on all of my advertising, Nathan, how are we doing? Glad you could join us. And Nathan is going to be running all over Hex Half Acre, busier than a long-tail cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But absolutely, drop in on Nathan's show. Okay. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. It is by sharing these connections that we are going to be able to change the span of the face of the world. In spite of what the so-called leaders are telling you. In spite of what the so-called spiritual guides are telling you. I swear, in my opinion, half these people are related to lemmings. Okay? Every 4 years, people get up, go to the polls, go, I'm voting for this person. And then everybody runs in and starts following without questioning half the time. Okay? Now, there are people that will look at what the politicians and the clergy are doing and go, doesn't make sense. I'm not going down that road. Okay. But it's up to you to make things change. Okay. You're the one that's got to alter it, not somebody else. nice part about it is I figured out now, before I go any further, because I'm going to repeat this at the end of the show anyway. Really? Next week, we are starting on Friday, because I'm off for 2 days here. Starting on Friday, we are going to be looking at, quite literally, living positively in a negatively charged world. Okay, how do you find your anchor point to stay positive? Now, I will tell you, I'm not perfect at it. You guys have helped immensely. So the reality of it is, oh, there you go. Nathan goes, also work on my eyes, teeth, and trying to change my local area. Excellent. The reality is we've got to interact. I am seeing changes take place. Now it's time to make it happen in a bigger fashion. Because what's going to happen is all these people are out there, oh, I'm the leader of this country, you must follow me. I'm thinking, if you voted to put him in there, and much more importantly, if there is a law that is written, do follow the written laws. Absolutely. Those plus karmic laws. And the reason for following the written laws is twofold. Myself, I don't do the vertical bar scene that well. Now, I've never had the displeasure of having to deal with it this lifetime. Even when I hit a pedestrian, I didn't end up with things going the way that most people would expect, myself included, in all fairness. But I'm changing my physiology. That's why my weight is continuing to drop at a controlled pace. And I'm now looking at modifying my health, or modifying my wardrobe. My health always. But I'm tired of living life the way I have been. So it's time to start changing it. Now, the question is, for you, are you in a position now where you're ready, willing, and able to change your life for what you consider the better? Not for what I do. Because let's face it, whether you change your life around or not has virtually no bearing on what mine does. What do we got here? We got a bunch of things. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 9 things left to do at this point. But I'm going to be working on those when I get done in this stream. The reality of it is, pick your projects. I would recommend strongly look in the mirror, ask yourself, is your house running as smoothly as you'd like? Okay. Are you actually seeing the changes in your life that you're striving to make happen? And absolutely, if you have a question on how to get things started, drop me a line. Put your question in the chat room. Lots of people are watching, and what they do, and do not get me wrong, I can't tell you numbers. I can tell you that the streams get looked at later. Okay. Any question you have, almost any question you have, you can just about bet somebody else has the same question. Okay. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I've got the only answers. I'm gonna sit here and tell you that I've got answers that have worked for me and thousands of others. Now it's a question of making them happen. One of the biggest things we have to look at is, are you so afraid of your own life, or so fed up with your own life, that you're willing to let other people dictate how it's going to evolve? Or are you finally at a point where you're going, I desire control of my life? This is where I reached. And this is why I finally said, no, if I lose the other websites, they're gone. I'm just not going to worry about it. Because they haven't netted me a nickel. We got Buy Me Coffee up and running. It has made more money on its own than all of the others combined. Okay. Now, the only thing that's made more money than buy me a coffee is my own efforts. Okay. And those have been really spectacularly successful. So now, in your eyes, let me ask you this. And this is literally something I'm simply asking for your input. I've got an image in my head as to what I desire to see happen. But if you had a suggestion for what would make the stream better, absolutely let me know. Okay. I'm not guaranteeing I'll implement it, but I will take a look at it. And clearly, if I decide to implement it, I've already proven this one before. If I decide I'm going to implement a change you suggest, like I did with LA. LA is the one that came up with the idea of calling this stream positive perceptions. Okay. So I am all for giving credit to the people that come up with it. You know, I've got 2 regular contributors now to the 2 positive perspectives. Okay. Besides the behind the scenes work that Storm and LA do as far as the stream goes, and whatever else I ask usually. Okay. Aside from those 2, I've got 2 others that are regular contributors. Okay. Joseph Ranson in the chat room, I don't think he's there yet, is one of them. And the other one is a young lass that goes by the handle Carave. Okay. She is another one. Am I open to other contributors? Abso-freaking-lutely. The whole thing is that this whole newsletter, what will become a magazine, is designed to unify this world. Right now, sorry, it's only getting done in English. I don't speak any other language. Okay, but as we evolve, we will make adjustments. You know, one of the biggest things we have to look at is where do you see your life going? Right now, like I was looking at the way my life was going, and I saw exactly where it was going. You recognize this kind of a pattern? Okay, that's where my life was heading. Okay, before I met my other half, I was 3 days away from shutting my emotions out altogether and just saying, I'm just not dealing with this place anymore. Now I look at it going, okay, I know how this has got to be changed. You've got the choice. Follow my lead or watch what happens around you. Now, the way things have been being handled in the past has not been effective, in case you hadn't noticed. And with that in mind, I'll leave that thought for you for a minute while I get another coffee. In the meantime, if you've got an idea of what would make the stream and or the newsletter more effective or more enjoyable, I would really appreciate the input. And I'll be back momentarily.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And we are back. priorities here. You know, it's a good thing I don't drink strong coffee. Uh-oh. Eyeballs. Well, I was thinking of that. No, the only bouncing ball I've got is up front, and it's not mine. But I am looking at it going, okay, I found a three-pronged approach. The newsletter, which is written, the live stream, which is auditory, and my literal life, which is physical. Again, we have this factor of three, leading towards a stable future. Now, it's up to you whether you do the same sort of thing. Okay. Now, last I checked, we were still seeing at 627 subscribers. Now, the reality of it is, it takes one person to start an avalanche moving. Okay. It takes one drop of water to start a river. Okay. And then it just gains momentum. I'm asking you to help participate in that, because we can continue looking at the negative world. And this is what I'm going to be looking at next week. As a matter of fact, I forgot to write it down. Oh, sort of. There we are. We are up another one. Thank you, LA. I do appreciate that. This coming week, starting on Friday, we are literally going to be focusing on that neat little thing called living positively in a negatively supercharged world. And yes, on Friday, I'm going to come in here, and the first 5-10 minutes, it's going to be, here's all the things we're told are wrong. Then we're going to spend the rest of the week going, here's what the things are that are right. Okay, now this issue of changing your life. Okay, my brain is already being rewired. Okay, I thought of electroshock therapy, and went, I can't afford that, so I'll just use a wet finger and a light socket. Works like a charm. Do not do it. Painful as all get out. Kind of like a fork and a light socket. Again, not a real healthy idea. But get your ideas on paper. And the more detail you have, the more senses you involve, the more likely you are to succeed. And what was this? I believe, I don't even know if this was done yet. I think it was. I got to double check this. So, this is the hard copy for some of the last pages of book 12. Oh, got that. Okay, so I'm changing the way that all of this is working. You're going to, assuming you keep logging in, keep checking in, you're going to see a transformation as all of this goes into a different standpoint. But where's your life standing? Are you happy with where it is? Because that's the important thing right now. I've got absolute 100% control over the effort I put into my life. Okay, I've got zero control over what you do with yours. Okay, but I do know that if my assessment is correct, my ability to heal others is going to be climbing rather exponentially. It's already climbing at a staggering rate for me personally. A lot of that is because I'm laying things out the way I desire them to work. And what, pray tell, is that? Okay. Nope, that didn't do anything. Oh, okay. We ignore that. Okay, that's enough of the sidetrack. The important factor from your standpoint is real simple. You're the one that's got to change your life. Okay, you look outside, you take a look at the way the world is. First thing you do Is that your fault? That would be the first question. Now, I'll tell you right now, and you're going to love me for this one. If you throw one piece of garbage on the ground and leave it there, okay, you're part of the problem. Okay, it's that simple. Oh, that's easy. Pink. As a matter of fact, give me 10 seconds. I'll show you a neat little thing with that. Pink is just asking my view on tarot. Just looking for a neat little box. Okay. Number one, just to give you an idea, actually pull out a deck. Like I said, I've been reading these since I got them in 1976. Yeah, I got them I was 13. No, I was 16, so I got them in 1979. I taught myself to read. Now, where is it? I can go over there. Now I can get what I'm aiming for. Well, grabbing the wrong thing. Now this goes beyond people's standpoint usually. This deck here. Okay. This is literally the first deck I ever owned. I was handed it by my parents, which is really neat when you think about it. Grew up in the church. My parents decided, we grew up in a broadband Protestant church. This is the original deck that I was gifted. Okay. Now, along with this deck, now needless to say, in case you couldn't tell, don't know if you can at this point. Okay. Well, that is the card of that is the moon. Also known as the card of the psychic. But this deck has been used consistently for, I got it when I was 16. Took me 7 years of playing with it to get comfortable with it because I had no trainer. Okay. But I now have a new deck. Same deck. Here's the thing. My understanding, and I may be mistaken, I don't know. My understanding is simple. Tarot was originally designed to spread Christianity. Okay. It was a way when Christianity was having its troubles. Somebody designed these, I don't know who. Oh, that's the Celtic cross you're referring to, Pink. I used that when I started. I now have what I call a portal. Okay, and it uses 39 cards. Okay, all cross-correlated, all linked. But here's the thing. It was originally designed, in my understanding, to spread the word of God. Now, here's the kicker. The gypsies got a hold of it and figured out how to make money. I'll tell you, the church figured it out better. But let me ask you this. You take a look at one card. I don't mean the definition. I mean one card. When you take a look at one card, how many definitions does that card and does that one card have? Roughly, as far as you're aware. I find the 10 card deck is actually rather convenient. The 10 card layout. Very short, very succinct, but it does the job. But when you take a look at them, tarot themselves are they're a pictographical bookmark for me. They do bring the senses into an alignment. But when you look at one card, any idea how many definitions that has? Roughly. Because I will show you something here. This is the deck that I was originally given. Okay. complete with 3 books. Now, the neat part about it is this. The good books have somewhere, like when you take a look at the books that come with the cards. Okay. The good ones have 15 to 20 definitions per card if you've got a good book. And of course, this neat little book, when the heck was it written? Well, I know when I got it, but I'm just looking for a copyright, which I am not actually. Oh, there we are. Written in 71. Pink, I'm just going to pop a little bubble for you. Okay. Now, I don't know how long you've been reading. I've been reading for, well, like I said, professionally, as in generating an income, since 1970. No, I've been generating income since 1979. I got it, meaning 1985. Okay, 1986. I started reading professionally. There are per card roughly 8 billion definitions for the card sitting that direction. Turn it over, another 8 billion. Constantly getting higher because these tap to the individual you're reading for. Now, yeah, there are some basic definitions that go hand in hand with them. Absolutely. Do I believe these things work? They work as a focal point. Okay. The ability comes from here. Or if you want, it comes from up here. Take your pick. But I have, the reality of it is, and you'll figure this one out. I'm not going to say you're right, wrong, or indifferent. I will tell you, I work with about 8 billion definitions per card, okay, that are available. And the reason for that is because they tap to the individual. Now, the tools I'm giving you, there are, like when I tell you, this is a path that works, it's the one that works for me. If you're content with the path you're following, stay on it. Okay. If it's working for you, if you're content, stay on it. If you're not content, it's time to alter it. Now, the neat part about it is once you pick a direction, you cannot go backwards. You cannot undo that which you've already done. You cannot unsay that which has been said. You cannot unsee that which has been seen. What you can do is alter the path from where you are to where you're heading. Absolutely, you can do that. Now, the neat part about all of this is this. The future, I hate to tell you this, no, I don't, is not written. Okay. Ultimately, LA, that is very much the case. I was asked one day if I really required these. I looked at the person, I went, no. Long story short, he goes, well, what do you use the cards for? I said, honestly, I use them to distract the querent because people on the whole seem to think these hold the answers. These are simply triggers. They're simply cue cards. Okay. If you're psychic, these are not a requirement. However, they are an absolutely fabulous tool. It's kind of like these. Okay. These are a fabulous tool if you can't see. They really help you focus. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. When I take a look at it, everything can heal. And this is one of the reasons why I've decided I'm going to continue down this road. Okay. Well, that might give you an idea. I can't show you in all fairness. But do I have I don't have one. Looks like I've got about an extra of the cards because these are so old. Same number of cards, same deck. Honestly, same dimensions. Okay. Yep. The cards are the same. Okay, they're the same size. But because these ones are older and have been used, they're about another, I'm guessing, well, where is it here? That much thicker, okay, than what the rest of than the other deck. But tarot is just one tool. Astrology is another. Now, do I agree with these? Absolutely. They work beautifully for me. Okay. And yes, they will provide, they not only provide time frames, but outcomes. Rachel, how are we doing? Glad you could join us. You know, things are going to change in this world. The question is, are you going to let them continue changing in a negative front, or are you going to encourage them to change in a positive one? Now, this neat little deck here, this little box here. There we are. When I got it, okay, it came with 3 books actually. This is what's called a little bit of a sidetrack. Mastering the Tarot. Okay, the Tarot Revealed, and the Sexual Key to the Tarot. Okay, all 3 of these books. Now this is a set, like I said. I got it back in my 16th birthday, making 1979. Okay, that's what this was. What it cost, I have no idea, and less concerned. But here's the neat part. Whether you use tarot to guide your life or you use astrology, okay, now I will tell you, this neat little book here, okay, this is called an ephemeris. This is a handbook for working with astrology. And I found some interesting triggers there as well. Okay, but with this in mind, you can use this. Here's another life guide for another life guide to utilize. This funny little book here. Okay, this one. You guys call it, well, so do I. This is literally the Holy Bible. Again, it's another path you can utilize. Now, what would you do if I took one statement out of this Bible? Okay, God created everything. One tool for spiritual guidance. Another tool for spiritual guidance. Okay, the pagan way, the Wiccan way, the witch's way. Another tool for spiritual guidance. Put them all together, you got a pretty all-encompassing tool. Then we throw the physical world. Here we have an interesting version of science. Again, you use the same method, you'll come up with the same answer. Okay, but it's another tool. And if we go medical, you've got your EEGs, your auric pictures, you've got your MRIs. These are all pinhole approaches to life. We're looking at rebuilding your life from where it is now to where you desire it to be. But the question is, what are you content with? And what are you willing to do to make that a reality? What did I see here? Oh, yeah, okay. You know, the neat part about it is You've got the control over your life. You just may not realize it yet. That book. That lid, rather. You notice the plastic is a funny color yellow. I don't smoke. This is simply because this particular box is, well, 45 years old now. Nope, not quite. It'll be 45 on my birthday. Or not on my birthday, rather on Christmas. But you take a look in the mirror. Are you content? Do you have the confidence that you desire to have? What the heck is falling over? You know, do you have the self-confidence to look in the mirror and go, I'm changing my life for me? Okay. Do you feel you're at that point? If not, absolutely, I'm willing to give you a hand. Absolutely, I am. I won't do the work for you. I'm simply going to point the direction. Okay, that's just the way that's going to go. Now, one of the biggest things we have to remember is whatever your life is doing right now, it's up to you to make it change. Absolutely. Pray all you'd like. Pray as much as you'd like. I'm telling you, all the prayer in the world is, you got to remember one little aspect. If you're praying for your life to change, do not forget, you're praying to God. That's your belief structure. That's great. But it tells you right in the Bible, God helps those that help themselves. I'm laying odds he wasn't referring to thieves, which begs a number of questions, but we're not going to deal with that. Where did it go? Should I put that behind me where I can't see it? You know, the funny thing about it is you've got the ability to change your life. Question is, do you believe you've got the ability to change your life? And if you believe you've got the ability, do you know where to start? You know, all of these are little tools. None of them are the be-all and end-all. None of them have all the answers. And by the way, much as I love to look at it and go, you know, I know what I know. I do. Okay. And I'm not gonna argue that with anybody. But the reality behind it is this. When you develop that self-confidence to the point that you can look in the mirror and go, I'm doing it this way because I know it works for me. That's when your life starts to take a turn for the better. That's all that. I'm just doing what I always do. Okay. One thing that I do have to look at is when you take a look at your world. If you are not content about it, you know, if you're not content with the way your world is going, what are you currently doing to alter that? You know, the fact of the matter is, you're the one that's going to have to do it. So, let's start with the obvious. Well, obvious from my standpoint. Yeah, now you notice, to keep things in order, I'm putting them back as I go along. There's a reason for that. Let me ask you this. If you're not content with where your life is, what are you doing about it? Okay, do you even know how to start? Because I'm telling you, first and foremost, you're going to see a transformation here, like around me, because I'm altering everything about me that I have to. I'm content with certain aspects. I'm not about to start looking at you guys and going, you're not worth the effort. You make the effort to show up here. I will make the effort to be as clear and encouraging as I can get away with. But I'm not about to tolerate certain things. And this is where Storm and LA come in beautifully. Every now and again, we get genius in here that they're here to cause a problem. We don't require them. We really don't. But what I do know Oh, would you look at that? Is that actually, that's my coffee cup. I didn't actually realize it would see that. I'd be able to see that. But take a look at where your life is. Now, I'm going to be changing my physique even more. I am now at a level where I'm comfortable in the morning. I can actually do sit-ups properly. Well, I don't know if it's properly, but I lay down on the bed because it hurts my back and gives me vertigo with my head if I do it on the floor. But I'm changing everything in my life to make it more, more productive. That's just the way my life is going to go. Now, they tell me, they being everybody I talk to just about, have told me it's lonely at the top. Well, my rational mind goes, well, if it's lonely at the top, let's take everybody to the top and let's have a party. Let's enjoy life. Okay. Now, like I said, it depends on how you look at it. So take a look in the mirror. What changes are you going to make? Now, I've already decided, I figured out how to do it. Okay. I've already figured out how to do a wardrobe overhaul. As a matter of fact, assuming it fits, then on Friday, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to change things here. Well, that is an interesting play. How we doing, Art? Nothing like throwing up a red light. Oh, that answered that in a hurry. I find it fascinating that somebody would pull that, because talk about throwing a red light up. I gotta ask him what. Well, I'm gonna put this to you this way, Art. I don't deal with a lot of this. I certainly don't deal with it head on. Okay. LA and Storm will deal with that side of it. Thank you so much, LA. Appreciate it. This is why I was just saying, 10 minutes ago, my goal with this stream is to keep it safe for everybody. Now, the reality is certain things trigger warnings. Okay. They trigger red lights. Now, let me ask you this. I appreciate that, LA. This is why, I could get stressed out about it, but I figure when that blatant, if I can see there's a problem, I can bet that you're going to do that there's a problem. The sad reality of it is this. Life is one of these really odd things. Okay. I would apologize, but I'm just not one to apologize. Even, the funny part is when I was growing up, I used to get told you've got to apologize for things. I found a way to do it. My normal one would be, please accept my most insincere apology to date. Oh, there we go. There are invariably people that are going to try and start a complication. That is not the point here. So moving forward, take a look at your world. Now, I'm looking at the physical one. This one, I was sitting there, like I was just sitting here, just in this last 15, 20 minutes, going, I know I desire to change my wardrobe because I know that an upbeat wardrobe, in my eyes, helps me feel more focused, more successful. I get a kick out of it. For me, it's real simple. When I look in the mirror, what is going to make me feel more successful? When you look in the mirror, what is this stupid as us today? When you look in the mirror, okay, very important question. What do you see as making you feel or helping you feel successful? Okay, that's the thing we look at. Now, I will tell you, clothing does not make the person. If clothing made the person, then you'd have a simple issue. Everybody in the military, everybody on every sports team, everybody in every private school would all behave the same. So would all of your first responders, because they're all dressed the same way. If clothes made the person, that's what would happen. But I will tell you this: when you look at clothing does enhance your feeling of what you're doing. It does help express what you are. Okay, and it does affect the way you feel about the world. Now, we're going to put that to the test. I'm going to see if I can actually do it. I can't say for certain yet. I may have something. I don't know for certain because they're going to check a couple of things. But what change to your life or to the way you appear to the world are you interested in making? Okay, to help you feel better, to help you feel more successful, more focused, more, if you will, more energetic. There's a lot of words that can go with it. It boils down to what you see when you look in the mirror. Now, Wiener, I'm just going to put it this way. I have no doubt your dad had a massive impact. But I will tell you this. Most of the time, now I don't know your story, but most of the time, my father included, provides you, your parents provide you with an impetus, with encouragement to change your own life or with guidance. Now, I am not saying your father did not actually do any good. As a matter of fact, I'm dead certain he did. Yes, we have stupid, we have stupid is and stupid does. This is why I've got the moderator thing, guys. Okay, to remove problems. Yeah, pretty much LA goes, we have dumb, dumber, and stupid. The fact of the matter is, this is one of the reasons why I look at the human race going, humans have been, and don't get me wrong, humans are not the only ones. Everyone that I've, every race that I know of, okay, has gone through these same problems. Some of them are still doing it. Okay. The trick is take a look in the mirror. What makes you feel better? Like, I know in my case, I'd avoid mirrors because, well, let's face it. Take this body, look back 2 years. I was 60 pounds heavier. There is no way I was looking in the mirror and going, oh, look, I've got a good body. Yeah, right. Now I can look in the mirror and say, hey, at least I'm getting in shape. But you take a look in the mirror, ask yourself what's going to make you feel better about you. What are you up to? If you don't know how to change, okay, absolutely, we're going to cover a lot of that. Okay, over the next several months, we are going to help you guys, anybody that comes in here, if they come in with the intention of actually helping. Okay, but I tell you, it is absolutely amazing to me. Now, get this. What, 3 months ago, LA, Frank, LA storm, whichever, what was it, 3 months ago that we had an absolute dumb hacker attack that created a massive problem for me. Also known as a heart attack, by the way. Okay, I was hoping people would actually grab an IQ, and for the most part, people in here do. Nice part about it is I noticed some of you jumped on these guys when they walked in. That's the way I did. That's what I like to see. LA's going, that was February. Gives you an idea how well my world works. Where are we? Yeah, we're in June. So all in all, I'm not interested in another problem. Kyle, how we doing? Welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. It's amazing the number of people that pop in that you think there's a simple rule of thumb. Okay, when you walk into somebody's house, follow the laws of that home. If you desire people to follow the laws in your home, it only stands to reason you follow the ones in theirs. Okay, now I look at my wardrobe going, I've got to be updated because right now this is functional. Rest assured, you don't want me sitting here without a shirt. Okay, that's just not a pleasant sight. Not my eyes. But I am looking at taking everything I'm doing and overhauling it, which is why oh, 4. See, this is the thing. From my standpoint, I have no idea which people are real and which ones aren't. The sad part is that if we did, just for those of you that are here, if we did not have Storm in the saddle or with his hand on the trigger, okay, my only option, because getting distracted talking to people that are basically brain dead does not help. Now, when you look in your life, the reality is, if they weren't here, my only functional reaction, because I'm not having another heart attack for anybody if I can avoid it, okay, would be to close the door. Now, I've got no functional interest in closing the door. It's amazing how many people are that dense. But in your life, okay, when you get dressed in the morning, are you getting dressed in what they call just grunge clothes or just lazy about clothes, or do you get dressed for the day? Okay, now when I'm working around the house, this is what I wear. But you're going to find, as soon as I can arrange it, I'm going to alter that. So when I come on here, I'm going to be upgrading my wardrobe. I'm going to be upgrading my appearance. Okay. No, I'm not going to be. I'm almost, now we've got the question of how many people are coming in with the wrong number, with this absolutely twisted name. So here's a neat reality. When you're getting ready for work, okay, you put on work clothes. Okay. When you're getting ready to lounge around the house, you get dressed in what they call casual. I am absolutely dumbfounded. Well, no, apparently not. When I get up in the morning, I get dressed so that I gear up for the day. What I'm starting on Friday, assuming that what I've got works. Okay, I'm hoping to start this on Friday if what I just saw in my closet actually still fits. Okay, then I will alter it then. Otherwise, I gotta wait until I can bring it to. The point being, I'm changing what I'm working with in order that when I look in the mirror, I can go, okay, now you're starting to look successful. Here, I feel like I'm making headway. Here, I know I'm making headway. It's the physical appearance, or the wardrobe, if you will, that's a little lackadaisical. But I figure if I start treating this like a proper business, because I just pulled all the advertising that I was doing, I'm pulling the plug on it because none of it has done me any good at all. Okay, aside from the link at the top of the stream, buy me a coffee. That is working. Okay, the bit I'm doing on social media is working. The rest of the expenses are going the way of the dodo bird. I've now reached a point where it's time to start acting on what I know has to happen. Okay, and that's the way that's going to work. And yes, I caught that, LA. LA's just letting us know we just hit the 25-minute mark. And it's in 25 minutes and counting down. So we start with your appearance. Okay, it's time to build a new you. Now, I'm not saying what you're wearing is wrong, what your dress like, what your appearance is wrong. If you're comfortable, that is the only person that you got to worry about. Aside from, if you're going out in public, people are going to be making an assessment. You absolutely know this. Okay, so dress to elicit the assessment that you'd like. Now, I'm betting that's what I kind of figured. I gotta ask, Storm. I'm presuming these guys are coming off their own computer.
Yes, they are.
You started the sheep on me, in case you hadn't noticed. Is there a way to actually is there a way to actually block the IP?
That's what I'm working on.
Mm.
I'm working on a ban through StreamYard right now. So we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Well, that was different. I just about dropped my coffee. That's your fault.
No, we'll take care. We'll like I said, I was happy to reactivate my hunting license.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you, Moonhawk. Appreciate it.
Moonhawk, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The reality of it is this. By the way, that is live video at its finest. And to think, before my stroke, nothing would faze me. It wouldn't matter what happened. I remember I was at a demonstration at an auto shop one day, and they were setting off an airbag. They counted down before the detonation. Now, everybody had a coffee in their hand. Okay, I was with my buddy, and we're all sitting there, standing around watching the airbag. And I had just finished taking a drink. I just brought my cup down when they set off the airbag. My buddy was in the middle of taking a drink. and everybody, the bag blew up, and I'm sitting there, and I was literally solid as a rock. It was boom, and of course, when my buddy brought his coffee down from in front of his face, he looks at it. Everybody except myself and him were wearing coffee. Okay, like they all threw their coffee in the air and ended up soaked. My buddy looks at me and goes, "What the heck happened?" I says, "Well, remember that you remember that airbag?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "This is a side effect." Now, bear in mind, my buddy was a demolitions expert. He was a professional blaster. So, of course, an airbag was nothing. For me, nothing phased. Then I had the stroke. It seems to have had a very definitive impact. But take a look at the way when you get dressed in the morning, when you start your day, get dressed for casual, absolutely. What I'm looking at is altering what I'm wearing for when I come on air. If I own it, then I will deal with it this Friday. If I don't, it's going to have to wait until I can afford to get an upgrade. Oh, yeah, they really are. The neat part, I'm going to show you something here, guys, where it comes to my nerves. Before the stroke, okay, if I let my hand relax, if I didn't let it relax, this was normal before my stroke. Okay, I learned how to connect it. It's better for me if I don't focus. My right hand shakes this badly. When I focus, I can stop it. Before the stroke, my left hand used to be identical. Used to shake just as badly. Okay, but I've now removed that and that. It's even gotten past the choppy side. Okay, but I am a firm believer that every physical disconnection, every physical disconnection that is out there, I shouldn't say every, most of them you can actually heal in your own body with, more often than not, with the assistance from medical, from naturopathic. Okay, the reality is they are correctable, they are healable. And like I said, this is in conjunction with medical, with naturopathic, with herbalistic, using other tools. Again, it's a small part of the whole package. Now, what I'm looking at this point is when you get up, you're wandering around the house, you're doing what you will. Okay, absolutely dress in your casuals for around the house, but I strongly recommend, even if you are not going to work, let's just say you're going to the grocery store, get into clothing that feels a little bit crisper, a little bit more upbeat, if you will. So when you go out in public, you start drawing people's attention. Well, of course, that may not be the right way to put that. Okay, so you start feeling a little more successful out in public. This will help your sense of self-confidence. Don't take my word for it. Give it a shot. Okay, just see what happens. The trick is now, those of you that are gamers, okay, you know how to build a character. What we're talking about doing is building a new you. For me, I've already got the mindset sorted around. I mean, I'm still completely whacked. And if you compare me to a lot of people, no, I don't relate to most. I do not understand how people can actually live past the age of 2 without a brain. And yet I see this all the time. My problem is, my problem is I like greeting people when they come in, but we've received so many geniuses. Yeah, I kind of figured that. I like greeting people when they come through the door. I like you feeling welcome. Unfortunately, with the number of geniuses we get, um, I do get, the reality of it is this. Okay, because this is getting very distracting for me. So I'm going to do this right about now, just for a moment. I'm going to take that whole chat out of my equation. No, I can't see who's posting what right now because I'm finding it distracting myself. Fortunately, we've only got like 5 minutes left here. I'll go back into the comments in a minute. But take a look at what you're looking at. The important thing here, now I've got my mindset sorted around. I've got my health on the upswing. My wardrobe and the physical world around me is what I'm going through next. But when you start moving, okay, when you start looking at your world, thank you very much, LA. When you start looking at your world, okay, dress as casual as you like around the house. When you go to head out, get into something a little bit more upbeat, a little bit neater. Okay. And the reason I say that is I'm talking about a way to build your self confidence, your ability to interact with people. Okay. The important factor here is if you're not entirely content with everything with your life, it's time to make adjustments. And I'm talking about the simple adjustments you can make. Your wardrobe, make sure, like, my hair is just a disaster. I really do need to get that sorted out. And if you look at some of my earlier videos, okay, my hair used to be a lot worse. But let me ask you this, guys. In your eyes, what would make, other than firing squad, what would make this stream more useful, more enjoyable, more appealing in your eyes? Okay, and let's not try for the idea of being a stand-up comedian. Number one, I'm not funny. Okay. Number two, that's not what this is about. Or is that vice versa? I'm not sure. What I do know for certain thanks so much for that, Rachel. Rachel goes, I've been told that the more improvements you make, the more snit stuff happens. Shows you're making good progress. Well, that's a nice way to look at it, Rachel. I really do appreciate that. I mean, it's funny. I get told by people, unless somebody's complaining, you're not doing the job right. If you don't have complaints, then you did something wrong. I don't have a problem with people having complaints. I have a problem with people disrespecting the people in here. Philip, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The reality of our life is this. The world is changing. It is being guided right now down a very black, very bleak path, if you ask me. Okay. Now, I've seen where this goes in the past. Again, I watched the outcome in Rome. I watched the outcome in Atlantis when people decided to do things absolutely stupid. Okay. I've watched this several times. It's time that we do the one thing that no society has done. Okay. That no society has done that I recall. It's time for the people to rise up, band together, and work with each other to influence the community, not to create a problem. I will tell you, the political system, the education system, the systems themselves are stable. Okay, the systems themselves are designed reasonably well. It's the people operating them that are causing the problem. Okay, so now what we're looking at is something very simple. Now it's time for us to take it and open the door and say, hey, what are we doing? What are we tolerating this kind of behavior for? Absolutely. If a law is written, follow the written law. Okay. If the law is written, you follow the written law. Myself, I do it because I don't like the vertical bar scene. Now, I know I have a vocal temper, and it's not a pleasant one. But I also know I'm doing what I can to correct it. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely accurate on that. Okay, but what we're looking at here, and this is why I just remembered I got something in the closet. If it fits, it can work. Now, I know it didn't used to fit because I was 60 pounds heavier. Okay, and that's just not going to work for me. I'm never going back to that size again. One of the things that we have to realize here is whatever your life is looking like, if you're not content, it's easier to change the physical world around you than it is to change the mental state. Okay, it requires effort in both cases. Oh, there we go. I still prefer the trolls, and it's really bad when you think about it. I play D&D. I still prefer the D&D trolls over these people. Now, in all fairness, I'm setting the bar low. People have asked me, how do you relate to people? I don't. Okay, I really don't. Yeah, and I may have to do that. And I appreciate the suggestion there, Philip. I can't say right now whether it fits. If it does, this is great. I'll use it. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to wait for a little more money. Okay, but I've already got that worked out, so I know how that's going to come about. Again, it boils down to little changes that we do to make this world better. Okay, now, when I mean better, I mean no stress. These geniuses that have the IQ of a thimble, I don't have a lot of use for them. Now, I got all the tolerance in the world for a munchkin or for an adult, for that matter, that is trying to turn things around. I got all the tolerance for it in the world. Now, here's the kicker. Okay, I've got all the tolerance. However, I cut Storm in LA loose, and I went, deal with it. Don't ask whether or not I agree, because I don't care. Okay, if it makes their job, their tolerance level is up to them. I've got a lot of tolerance for people that are trying, that are making the honest effort. Never mind trying. That are making the honest effort to follow guidelines, to actually be a genuine person. All the patience in the world. I talk to 4-year-olds the same as I talk to adults. Only I get better response from most 4-year-olds. Oh, well, that's the whole catch. This is why I've had to take a step back, because I'm telling you, causing myself a heart attack by getting worried about it didn't do me any good. And I'm not having that one again, but thanks very much. And yes, I see that. Now, I will be back again on Friday. Friday, we are going to be looking at living with positivity in a very negatively charged world. We're going to start altering that. Philip, I'll just say this. Philip goes, few generations ago, most people knew how to mend and adjust clothes. I'm reading a diary from World War I. People literally made and mended clothes for Christmas gifts during war. Absolutely. I met a couple of cobblers. I can't do shoes. Of course, I don't sew well either. But I will be back again on Friday. Until next week, we're covering living with positivity in a negatively charged world. Okay. That said, thank you so very much for sharing your time with us today. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the support that we've had. Fantastic night. Thanks so much. Until tomorrow, until Friday, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.